This one, it's going to be a bit of a doozy because I've got an unpopular opinion about the subject matter of today's video. And I need to be kind of careful how I word things. I mispronounce everything in general, so I'm hoping that my German pronunciation is so poor that Google or YouTube or whoever misunderstands the meaning of my words. Today we're going to be talking about Bethlehem's 1998 masterpiece of man's most self-destructive tendencies, Sardonischer Untergang im Zeichen irreligiöser Darbietung. Told you I'm going to mispronounce everything. That translates to sardonic demise in the sign of unreligious performance. And the song from that album that we're going to listen to, well, it's called Du Sollst Dich Toten. And I'll let you translate that for yourself. I've spent more than a week trying to figure out the best way to approach the subject of this video. And I've done like 50 takes of this intro already because I'm just trying to find the right words to make this clear to everybody. So maybe the best way to do this, to start this whole thing off, is to just break the ice a little bit. I'm going to break the ice in two parts. The first part is to tell you that I'm doing fine, okay? I'm okay. The second part is to show you what a massive fan of Bethlehem I am, okay? So part one, I'm doing fine. This space that we're in here, where we're at right now, this used to be a barn. Where I'm standing, there used to be horses here, right? I bought the house that this barn is attached to, and I converted the barn to living space. So I built everything around here. I created the office that I'm in. I built a bathroom back there. I've got a workshop over there. I did the electrical, the plumbing, all of that kind of stuff. I'm not bragging by telling you that, but I'm just letting you know that I'm able to figure stuff out. I'm able to build things. I am of sound mind and body, okay? I'm a retired musician. I released over 30 albums of music, complex electronic music. You've got schematics and rooms full of wires and all this kind of stuff. I'm able to learn how to do all that, okay? I'm a published author. I self-published a book last year, and then I've got another book coming out next year, and I've been published by other publishing houses around the world here and there. So again, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that I'm generally pretty good at life. Okay, I'm okay. I'm not on the verge of doing anything. I'm not going to harm myself or harm anybody for that matter. So yes, I'm saying all that, and then I'm going to say on top of all that, coming from someone who is generally pretty good at stuff, I recognize and firmly believe that the default state of humanity, like the default gear or mode that we are either built in or evolved to thrive with, that default state is what today we would refer to as anxiety or depression. Okay. So I don't think that anxiety or depression is a medical condition. I don't think it's a chemical imbalance. I think that's simply the human condition. If you're someone that struggles with anxiety or depression or whatever, you're not special. Get over yourself. This is how all of humanity has coped with life since the dawn of time. I've never met anybody who hasn't struggled with the same things that you think you're struggling with right now. So I'm just saying that to recognize the value of Bethlehem's music and the value of Du Sollst Dich Toten. I'm going to mispronounce this stuff so often. Forgive me for mispronouncing things, but there's value in this song because depression, anxiety, and perhaps even madness is the default state of humanity. Okay, part two of this icebreaker is going to be much easier for me to get out here. So although I haven't had a whole lot of help from other people throughout my life, I've got to say that I've surrounded myself with various positive forms of inspiration. And I would say that Bethlehem is right up there at the top shelf of that positive inspiration, even though many people would consider their music to be highly negative. I am a rabid Bethlehem fan. I buy everything that I can get my hands on that they come out with. I think I've got all the major releases. Let me prove that to you. Dark metal is their debut. Great way to start out. Love, love, love dark metal. This 2-track EP, I don't think a lot of people have this. I've got it, obviously, and I love it. Both songs are great. Dictius te Nakari. Again, I'm mispronouncing everything. I always do that. Some people think this is Bethlehem's best album. I'm not so sure I would call it their best, but this is certainly where that 90s dark metal aesthetic was established. Bethlehem's unique combination of black metal and doom metal and avant-garde and atmospheric metal, all that kind of stuff started to come together with this album. This is really good. If you haven't heard Bethlehem before, this is probably the best place to start. Sardonischer Untergang im Zeichen irreligiöser Darbietung. Terrible pronunciation. I'm going to say that every time I screw it up. S.U.I.Z.I.D. We're going to refer to this as S.U.I.Z.I.D. If you take the first letter of each word of the title, it spells out S.U.I.Z.I.D. Make of that what you will. This is the album we're going to be featuring Du Sollst Dich Toten from today. I think this is probably their best album overall. I think this is their best work, although it is not my favorite. I'm able to separate the things I like the most from things that are objectively best. This is probably their objectively best release. Schotten Oster Alexander Welt. I've got the official release. And then for whatever reason, somehow I ended up with one of those Russian bootlegs from Elrond record label. I don't remember how I ended up with this one. Somehow I got it. It says it's got both discs contents, but for whatever reason, only one of the discs are in there. I don't understand it. This is where I really, really started to fall in love with Bethlehem. This sound is a departure for them. I don't really care for the little radio interludes, the segues between songs so much, but the actual songs that are on here are much more akin with the sort of things I like to listen to. So this is different. A lot of people didn't like this, but this is where I really started to fall in love with them. Mein Weg. I think this is my favorite Bethlehem album. It's probably an unpopular opinion. I know this may not be their objectively best album, but there is just a soulfulness. This one pulls at your heartstrings a little bit. If you didn't like early Bethlehem and you wanted to hear something that they would consider maybe the more experimental stuff, this would be a great one to pick up. Mein Weg, my favorite. I've never said the title of this album out loud. I don't really want to say the title out loud because I won't be able to do it. This picks up where Mein Weg left off. So again, very, very nice, thick, hearty German on this album. I'll put the title on the screen so you can see what it is, and then you can decide for yourself if you're able to pronounce that. Liebe dich leer. This is the beginning of a return to form for Bethlehem. So they're kind of, with this album, starting to return to where they started from. Very good album. No Bethlehem album is bad. Every one of them is somewhat unique from the next, and they're all outstanding. But this is a departure from the departure, if you will. Finally, the self-titled Bethlehem album from just a couple years ago. This is certainly a deliberate return to form. This is kind of like completing the circle. They're coming back to where they started in the very beginning. A lot of people like this one quite a bit, and I do too. I like this a lot, but like I said, I think the stuff that was in their mid era, where things were just a slightly more heartfelt, slightly more experimental. I guess maybe because I'm into electronic music, I kind of like the stuff that has the bits of synthesizers and stuff going on in it too. But Bethlehem's Bethlehem is a good one. You should definitely check this out. Okay, so now that that ice is broken, I've done all of that. I said all of that to say this. I am generally pro S.U.I.Z.I.D. in every circumstance and for every person. I like it, okay? Ideally, one would take part in S.U.I.Z.I.D. and would act that out as a moment of triumph over existence. It would be a celebration of one's life. Kind of like I have conquered the universe, and now the universe doesn't deserve me anymore. I like that theme. I like that idea of S.U.I.Z.I.D. applied in that manner. So much so that I just finished a story that I was writing last week, actually, that's called The Universe Doesn't Deserve Us. It's a follow-up of the story, The Universe is Ours, from my first book. And this The Universe Doesn't Deserve Us will be in my second book. And it deals with that very thing. Like, I have beaten existence, and now existence doesn't deserve my influence any longer. So I like that application of S.U.I.Z.I.D. Now, Bethlehem deals with S.U.I.Z.I.D. from the total opposite perspective of that. The music of Jürgen Barsch, he is the founding member, and he writes the lyrics and much of the music. The music that he releases kind of is a result of madness. It is the result of the acceptance of one's worthlessness, the opposite of my perspective. It's an embracing of the meaningless of existence. It's a surrender to the universe, not a conquering of the universe. So, although I completely disagree with Jürgen Barsch's approach to S.U.I.Z.I.D., he's opposite from me, and that's okay. I still find value in Du Sollst Dich Toten. So we're like 10, 15 minutes into this video already, and I'm still just kind of waffling here because I'm still kind of struggling with the way to approach this subject, even though I've kind of just come right out and said it. It's not just because my opinion of S.U.I.Z.I.D. is controversial, because I like it. It's that I'm having trouble wrapping my head around why such dark music as that of Bethlehem, and why someone who has the opposite perspective of S.U.I.Z.I.D. than myself, like Jürgen Barsch has, why does all of that, which is clearly negative, why does it affect me so positively? And if you know me at all, you might be saying, well, no, it hasn't affected you positively. You know, the music that you released, your photography, the books and stuff, all your writing, it's all negative. It's all very dark and depressing. I would disagree with that, but I know why you're saying that, or why you might say that, because on the surface, it might seem that way. If you go a little bit deeper, I think you'd find otherwise. But I get a spiritual charge from the music of Bethlehem and from the dark art that I bring into my system. I would go as far as to say that I've thrived as a result of consuming so much darkness. Again, man, I'm waffling here. Why though? Why does that darkness have a positive effect on me? I still haven't answered the question. And guys, this is like a totally different type of darkness. This is not the spooky Halloween darkness. This isn't, oh, I'm dwelling on all this emotional baggage I've been carrying around all my life darkness. This isn't even like, I'm going to call on the forces of evil to do my bidding sort of darkness. The music of Bethlehem and Du Sollst Dich Toten in particular, it's on a whole nother level of darkness. This is heavier than all of that. So why does something that's so far into the dark realms, self-harm, why does that affect me positively? So I'm not certain, but here's what I'm thinking so far. This sort of darkness, it allows me to experience the absolute lowest point of existence, experience that lowness without the consequences of it. I kind of get to have like an alternate reality in my life when I listen to music like this. It's like I've had the same inclinations as everybody else. I've just chosen not to act on them. But by listening to something that's this dark, it kind of allows me to experience the feelings as if I had acted on those inclinations. I think the primary result of that is a reinforcement of my thriving self. It's an encouragement to make the right decisions again. It's kind of like by absorbing the lowest of humanity, by taking all of that in, it energizes me to not be the lowest of humanity, and perhaps to even be higher than that in reality. So as I'm saying all of that, the first thing I'm thinking in my head as I'm talking here is like, well, okay, so this is just like watching Jerry Springer. The music of Bethlehem is like Jerry Springer. No, it's not. It's not one of those, well, at least I'm not as bad as them scenarios. I watch the dregs of humanity, or I listen to music that represents the dregs of humanity, so that I just feel better about myself for not being that bad. That's not it at all with Bethlehem or any of the dark art that I consume. There's a fundamental difference, and that fundamental difference, like specifically to the album of S.U.I.Z.I.D and Du Sollst Dich Toten, the song we're going to listen to. Eventually, I'm going to get to the song, trust me. The fundamental difference between all of that and like this sort of, I don't know, profane in the pedestrian sense of the word, the Jerry Springer. I'm referencing someone that's like 30 years in the past, but that sort of like extreme documentary style of art, reality television, all of that sort of thing. The fundamental difference between Du Sollst Dich Toten and all of that is that Du Sollst Dich Toten is beautiful. This is a work of art. The entire S.U.I.Z.I.D album is beautiful art. There is a deeper knowledge to be gained from the music of Bethlehem. And there's a spiritual value in all this that one just can't obtain from something like a Jerry Springer or anything that just sort of dwells on the dregs of humanity. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I finally worked it out. The music of Bethlehem has a positive effect on me because it allows me to experience the lowest point of the human condition with the knowledge that our default position as beings here on earth is that of depression, anxiety, potentially madness. I experience the worst aspects of that without suffering the consequences of it through music like the music of Bethlehem. And the reason why I can do that is because all of this music is framed in beauty. All of Bethlehem's music is beautiful works of art. These ideas are expressed in a way that nobody else can express them but Bethlehem. That beautiful framing allows me to achieve spiritual nutrition from the music. So I can align myself with someone like Jürgen Barsch, who has a different use of S.U.I.Z.I.D than I do. The utility of that act is different in his world than it is in mine, but I can align myself with him because of all this. So I don't claim to have the answers to all this stuff. That's how I'm understanding my psyche now. I may change my opinion on all of this tomorrow. I don't know. But one thing I will not change my opinion on is that the song that we are finally going to listen to in this video, Du Sollst Dich Toten, is good. It is good. We're going to listen to it now. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to put the lyrics on the screen here or there, somewhere like that, and I will translate them from German to English so you can see both of them. I'll pause it every so often to share my thoughts as we play the song. Here we go. Here comes Du Sollst Dich Toten.
Seitwärts hinab und erforschen trug mit komischer Ironie.
So within the first, minute of this song, you could hear what makes Bethlehem unique. There's the black metal influence, obviously. There's doom metal, and there's also a poetic ambience happening in the music. There's two different voices, really three different voices as we get further into the song. The second voice that you heard there at that breakdown, that's generally unexpected, especially back in 1998 when this came out. That wasn't a thing that people did back then, not so much. I got into Bethlehem from a buddy of mine named Dale Vade. sometimes pronounced Veid, V-E-I-D. He was a guy that was involved in the death metal scene of Florida back in the 90s. But he got me into Bethlehem around the year 2000. And what drove him to be influenced or inspired by or interested in Bethlehem was those breakdowns like we just heard there. And I remember him describing those breakdowns as being bleak. And I think bleak is probably the best word to describe it. That's kind of what instantly attracted me to Bethlehem's music as well. There's just a solemn bleakness to these quiet moments in the song. And it goes up and down, up and down. Let's keep listening. Beautiful, simple, but beautiful guitar solo. Pristine tone and overall just very, very atmospheric. This whole recording is very atmospheric. But then again, another voice, unexpected and completely spastic. The change is just, bam, it just hits you. And that change, that spasticness, it just reinforces like the whole schizophrenic madness of this music. Expressing the mental condition of someone that might partake in self-harm, like I talked about for 20 minutes earlier. Let's keep going.
Toter Notwendigkeit und Raum.
That sound that you just heard at the very end there, to me, it always sounds like someone suffocating while someone plays ping pong on like a basketball court. The sounds just sound like that to me. I used to have a website, I don't know, 20 years ago called Save the Universe. And I interviewed Jürgen Barsch for that website way back then. And I asked him like, what were you doing to create those sounds? And he told me, and I totally forget. I wish I still had access to the interview. I should try to find it or dig it up somewhere. But that's just an example of like the strangeness and the weird atmospheric experimentation that's going on with this whole album. S.U.I.Z.I.D is like that. It's got all kinds of oddities in it. The lyrics, speaking to the lyrics, I don't know that you can gather too much meaning from the lyrics on their own. When I talked to Jürgen so long ago, he explained that a lot of these lyrics come to him in dreams. It's like when he's in a dream state, he's experiencing the Alexander world, Alexander Welt. Like there's a couple references to the Alexander world throughout the discography. And he hears these lyrics. They come from like figures in the dreams that he's experiencing, and he doesn't really know how to make much sense of them himself. So that's unique in its own. And then on top of that, I don't think they translate to English perfectly. I'm using Google to translate these. So there's a poetic aspect of them when being spoken or sung in German. That's really how they should be heard. They really shouldn't be heard in English. They sound better in German, at least. Here we go. All right, through this section and the part that comes up next is an upcoming sort of like a doom part. We gather that the encouragement of self-harm from the title of this song is a way to see the proof of the chaos of existence. It's kind of like, well, the lyrics say that the self-harm leads to the maternal dark, where dimness and chaos judge the heaven and the earth. So the title of the song is a recommendation to see what he sees. But to do so, to see that, to experience what he's experiencing, you have to be so low that you must kill yourself. Du sollst dich toten. Actually, there's a bit of a revelation here. So this is like German blues. Okay, hear me out. Blues music, nobody knows the trouble I've seen, is like the cliche blues line from American blues. He's seen and felt experience in such a way that no one else could relate to blues. Well, in Du sollst dich toten, in Bethlehem, he's seen and experienced such darkness that the only way someone could possibly relate to what he's seen and felt is to commit S.U.I.Z.I.D. That's the only way they could understand. That's how low he has gotten. And I think that's what he's getting at here with this song. It never quite clicked for me until now. I think I might be onto something with that. Let's just finish the song. It's not a very long song. We're going to get into an epiphanic doom bit with some melody, which is a change of what we've heard just so far. We'll play it out to the end from here on out. Okay, I think I figured it out there at the very end. So the major appeal of S.U.I.Z.I.D. and the song we just listened to, Du sollst dich toten, is that I can relate to feeling so low that somebody else would need to commit S.U.I.Z.I.D. to relate to me. I relate to that relation. That's what makes this music special. It is sort of like blues if blues was music of consequence. If it wasn't so shallow, like blues music is shallow. This is music for people that actually have an imagination, for people that like artistic challenges. And it's through the challenge of this music and the imagination that it conjures that I become spiritually stronger as a result. That's really what separates this from blues. And honestly, it's what separates it from most of the other dark music that I enjoy. So that's where we're going to end this one for now. I appreciate you watching this video all the way to the end, and I hope that I get to see you in the next one.